Hello everyone and welcome back to the video. In today's video we're going to be going over Crown the Third. It was an S tier that happened this weekend and this event was unreal. It was mainly NA talent, but you did have a couple invaders that did some damage on the bracket. In 13th place you had Ken, Meister, Sonics, and T. 9th place you had Light, Gax, Spargo, and Apollo Kage. In 7th place you had both Karama and Chase. 5th place you had Tweak and Leo. 4th place you had Onin. 3rd place Shuton. 2nd place Jackal. And winning the entire thing was Zomba. So let's talk about the underperformances first. And out of everyone that was seeded for top 8, only 4 of them were actually able to make it in there, with Spargo, Sonics, T, and Light all falling before that. With Sonics run, he lost to Zomba, which at this tournament isn't that big of a deal, and for future tournaments isn't that big of a deal because Zomba has been cooking as of late. And then he beats Captain Krupp, who was actually going on a run of himself, beating both Base Mage, Hawk, and a couple other players. But then he was eliminated by Gax. So Sonics out at 13th place, his lowest placement of the season, but it's not the end of the world. If you only have one bad rep, he's still probably going to get that top 10 spot. But T, his top 10 spot is definitely on the line, with a 13th place here, losing to Karama and Chase. Chase beating Light as well. Chase beating 2 top 8 players in the loser side of bracket. Crazy loser run from him. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But a 13th place from T. He's had a lot of underperformances this season, probably 3 or 2 by this point. So if I see him fall to the top 10, it wouldn't be super crazy. He's just kind of right on the edge of it. I feel like it's him, Gluttony, and Zomba. We'll talk about that more in the Zomba segment, who's actually in that number 10 spot for now. But a little bit of an underperformance by T. And it's the same thing for Light. He does lose to Chase's crazy loser run, as well as Shuton in the winner side of bracket. So it's not going to be terrible losses, because I think Chase is going to be a loss that continues to get better. But for Light, it's another top 8 miss. But, he is getting back into the swing of things. He looked really, really strong at MomoCon. Not quite as strong at this tournament, but it's not the end of the world. But we have to talk about the biggest underperformance of the tournament in the first seed of Spargo getting 9th place. So he loses to Jackal in the winner side of bracket in a crazy set, one of the best sets of the tournament, that is able to beat Abe and Meister in the loser side of bracket before falling to Leo and getting reverse 3-0'd by the Joker, the Leo Classico. And it's an underperformance by Spargo, and unfortunately it might be one that cost him that title of number 1 in the season, because even though I still think that Spargo is the best player in the world right now, because the clear top 2 is him and Akala, and he has such a dominant record over Akala. So Spargo, I would still say, is number 1, but for terms of the ranking season, this is another underperformance that Spargo has, because he also has Summit on top of this, as well as Akala having so many wins. Now, he still might get that number 1 spot. He won Major Upset and 2 of the 3 P-tier events, and the 9th place isn't the end of the world here. He's still got a couple good wins, but it is an underperformance. It's not that dominance that we kind of expected him to have going into this tournament, but also, it's not the end of the world. People are going to place bad, even when they did just win the last event. So Spargo, Light, T, Sonics, all these guys are going to be people that are very likely to bounce back. Now, we got to talk about the Palutena players at this tournament, because they went off. You had both Chag and Luis in 17th place. Chag getting wins on Sticky and Cosmos, and Luis getting wins on Risk Taker, as well as taking Tweak to a last stock, last hit Game 5. I mean, Game 5 wasn't super close, but Game 4, that was one of the most stressful games I have ever watched. Just unreal. That was kind of the trend in this tournament. The amount of people that were living to like 200% unexaggerated here were insane. Like, for reference, in the Light Chase set, Light was killing him with forward throw. Like, it was actually crazy. And let's talk about Chase's run, because it was phenomenal. He was able to be in the loser side of bracket, Monty, Valor, Luis in the Ditto, T, and Light to make top 8, where he did fall to Onin, but he looked unreal here. And with this placement, he's probably going to get the title of best Palutena player in NA for the season. Now, best Palutena player in the world still could go to Jagaimo, but it is very close between them. Huge shout to Chase. This is his first top 8 at a major, I'm pretty sure. I mean, a super major. He skipped the major step. He's an up-and-coming player, and once these up-and-coming players kind of get their first taste, they break into their first top 8, get a couple really big upsets, it just starts snowballing super hard from here. So I wouldn't be super shocked at the next tournament we see Chase at, he top 8s again, maybe even goes super far into the top 8. Like, he is an incredible player, some of the best fundies I've ever seen with Paulo, and I hope to see him succeeding. Also, apparently, I was wrong. He actually got top 8 at Major Upset with a 7th place there. So that's 2 majors in a row where Chase has actually gotten top 8. Definitely someone that you have to look out for. And almost 100% the best Palutena in NA with both those placements. And we already talked about one 7th place finisher of Chase. Let's talk about the other one in Karama, who starts off his day by beating Dark Wizzy in the Mario Ditto. Now, the Ditto can be extremely stressful, just because everything you can exploit, I can exploit. Everything that you have going for you in the matchup, I also have going for me. It's literally dead even. You just have to exploit your exact character better than the opponent, and Karama was able to do that, though it wasn't easy. Dark Wizzy definitely took him to his limits. Then he 3-0'd T, which I'm actually pretty surprised by, just considering that their set at LSI was really close, but Karama took that one fairly handily. handily, got 3-0'd by Tweak, then was able to 3-0 Apollo Kage, and the last time that they played, Apollo Kage was actually able to beat Karama, so that's some pretty big adaptation for him. Then he did lose to Leo. He was able to beat the Joker fairly handily, but the Byleth definitely was a tough matchup for him, and I'm curious to see in the future if we actually see Karama use Sora, because as we all know, Kameme was able to recently beat MK Leo's Byleth with Sora, and we know that Karama has a really good Sora, so on paper, it's definitely a better matchup, but Karama's Mario is way better than his Sora. Like, it's no offense to his Sora, of course, but that Mario is super clean. So do you favor the matchup? Do you favor the practice? We're going to have to see the next time that those guys play, but a really, really good performance for Karama, getting another top 8 for him in the 2023 season. And he's looking like one of the strongest players in NA right now. In 5th place, you had both the Luminosity boys of Tweak and MK Leo. Starting off with Tweak, who was able to beat Ludo, Luis, and Karama, kind of the Mario exterminator there. Once in the top 8, he fell to both Zomba and Onin, but versus Onin, he actually tried the Mega Man, which I really like that he's already trying this character. Like, he hasn't been practicing Mega Man for too long. To our knowledge, it's been like 2 weeks, maybe even a little bit less. I'm sure he's been doing it a little longer, but regardless, this is the tournament debut, and I gotta say, it wasn't pretty. The Mega Man didn't look super clean, but again, this is the first time we've seen it. It's a very new character for him. I think he should definitely continue investing time into it. This is super good resource. Mega Man just covers Diddy Kong's matchups so incredibly well, and I think it's a character that Tweak could have a lot of success on, so it didn't work out this time, but I definitely wouldn't give up on it yet if you are a Tweak Mega Man fan. And for MK Leo, he was able to beat Guy and Gact. Gact, who beat Sonics, by the way, at this tournament, who was looking crazy game 5 there. Then he lost to Zomba, reverse 3-0'd by Zomba, by the way, which is insanity, but that's what happens. The Zomba clutch gene is real, and in the loser side of bracket, he reverse 3-0'd Spargo, which is just insanity. Spargo has just been crowned the best player in the world, and Leo said, hey, I'm still the original GOAT, beats him down. Once in the top 8, he was able to beat Karama 3-1, and then got 3-0'd by Jackal. It was 2 games of Byleth and 1 game of Meta Knight, which looked okay, but Jackal was definitely able to put that away, and this is a good performance from Leo. You know, he had an underperformance at Battle of BC, so though he doesn't fully bounce back here, still does underperform his seed. Same thing with Tweak as well. These are still good performances from these guys. You're getting within the top 8, the top half of the top 8 almost, so not performing to the seed, but still a good placement overall. In 4th place, you had Onin. 3rd place, you had Shuton. Starting off with Onin, who was able to get wins on Kronos and Meister. For Meister, he's got to be happy about that one because he's been losing to Mia, lost to him at Battle of BC and Scuff World Tour, I'm pretty sure. And the last time he played Meister, he got reverse 3-0'd by him, so that's a much-needed revenge for Onin. Then he does lose to Jackal right after, but he reverse 3-0's Gact in the loser side of bracket to be able to make the top 8. Once in top 8, he beats Chase game 5, Tweak game 4, and then loses the run back to Jackal. It is game 5, though I'm pretty sure Jackal does reverse 3-0 again. There was a lot of reverse 3-0s at this tournament, so losing to the guy that got 2nd place at the tournament twice for 4th, not the end of the world there, and that's going to be Onin's first top 8 of the season, which you know he's got to be happy about because he's been a little bit inconsistent. Granted, he's only been to 3 majors, but he doesn't top 8 Let's Make Big Moves. He doesn't top 8 Battle of BC. People were questioning his top 8 seed this tournament. He proves everyone wrong, overperforms his seed with a nice 4th place finish. He's got to be happy with that, and definitely still the best NA seed that we have. In 3rd place, though, you had Shuton, who beat Captain Krupp, Apollo Kage, and Light to be able to make the top 8. And then once in top 8, he was able to beat Jackal in Game 5, losing 2 Game 5 sets to Zomba and Jackal in the run back. This is 2 3rd places in a row at Shuton for Super Majors. He is ridiculous. Definitely a top 10 player in the world at this point. Like, he is super secure that spot for him. Should be really happy with it. I, again, saw a lot of Olimar from him this term. I feel like it was more Olimar than Aegis, which I'm actually pretty surprised about. But I think he has a really nice character balance. Some of the best combating that we have right now in current Ultimate, especially with the absence of Proto Bonham. I wouldn't be too shy to call Shuton the best co-main in the game right now. He has been doing unreal lately, and this is another amazing performance under his belt. But let's talk about the stars of the show, the top 2 at the Fusion Weekly, and that is going to be Jackal in 2nd and Zomba in 1st. For Jackal, he has to beat Chase, Spargo, and Onin just to be able to make top 8. Once in the top 8, he does lose to Shuton in a Game 5 set, but he 3-0's Leo. He wins a Game 5 versus Onin and a Game 5 versus Shuton. Then he does fall to Zomba 3-1 in the Grand Finals, but this is a ridiculous run from Jackal. Both him and Chase, also something to mention, they both top 8 a major upset. They both top 8 this tournament. Definitely people that you have to put on your radar now at this point if they weren't already. Jackal, I would confidently say, is a top 10 player in America. Maybe even that's lowballing him. Like, he is ridiculous, and with this run, I hope we get to see more of it because sometimes we've seen shines of brilliance from Jackal, but it's been a little bit here and there. But with 2 performances in a row, it's giving me some confidence that I need because I need to see Wolf doing well in this current meta because that is a character that could save us all. But for the entire winner of the event, we had Zomba, who just looked unreal and has been looking unreal these past handful of tournaments. Like Japan, it changed that boy, but he beats Chegg, Sonics, and Leo to be able to make top 8. Once in the top 8, he beats Tweak, Shuton, and Jackal to win his first ever Super Major. Skips the major win, just goes straight to Super Major. That is 2 tournaments in a row where he has beaten both MK, Leo, and Twig. He is just looking unreal, and I would say probably the person that I would put in the top 10 now with this run. Top 8's Battle of BC, 9th at Kagaribi, 9th at Collision. He has just been getting good performances over and over and over again, and if he continues this trend, he could definitely steal that spot of number 1 in Americas because he's just been looking crazy. Again, he's beaten Twig, the person that is number 1 in America right now, 2 tournaments in a row and overperformed him at both. Like, just absolutely unreal, and I'm super happy that he gets his first major win, and I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Sport has been absolutely unreal lately. If there's a player that I left out in this video, and there's very likely that I did because there was a lot of people that performed at this tournament, just let me know down below. I'll be sure to tell you how I think that run was, and yeah, that's all I gotta say. Sport's been absolutely unreal. Thank you guys for everything, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.